First question I've drawn from the bucket will go to Mr. Morsi as well. Mr. Morsi, what is your position on the implementation of the Common Core standards?
Well, as we talked about this evening, it's no system is perfect. But I think with the cooperation of the teachers who do a wonderful job, and the students, I think we can make it work and make it happen. No change is easy, that's for sure. But I wish we had started this a little while ago. We were one of the last states to implement this program. It seems like we're always, back of the pack. But I think, as I said, our teachers who do a wonderful job, and the parents who teach our children, I think we can get it done. But it's not going to be easy, but it needs to be done through the efforts of all the people involved.
Thank you, Mr. Morsi. Mr. Palmieri, what is your position on the implementation of the Common Core standards?
Well, I believe that the administration and all our teachers and our coordinators have been doing a great job with their professional development and training everyone to be prepared for this Common Core. As it was stated earlier, we'll be on the same playing level as everybody else throughout the country. But one other thing that I'd like to bring up that I know the high school does now, we have the C rule, and that was brought up too. No athlete, no one in band, no one in the acting or drama classes, anyone that does any extracurricular activity, if they do not maintain a C for the whole year, they cannot participate. So, for instance, if you're a junior going into your senior year and you fail in your fourth marking period, when you're playing football, you cannot play. You have to go to summer school or whatever to get to the C level in order to play. The other thing, this will raise the bar for all our students, as I said earlier, and to make sure that everyone is prepared for this transition. And I think this administration has done a great job, and will no doubt, once this is implemented, will improve our scores and help our children to compete in the economic throughout the world, or throughout the country too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Palmieri. Mrs. Russo, what is your position on the implementation of the Common Core standards?
Common Core, just like the CMT, that's all that we talk about now in our schools. Our teachers are going to professional development. We're raising the bar. I'm sorry, folks, but it all goes back to, can the kids read? The Common Core is more rigorous. They want you to be able to think critically, to read information, gather details from that information, use that information in a meaningful way. I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do that unless our kids are prepared before they get to high school, before they get to middle school, and before they get to fourth grade. So until this city decides to implement all-day kindergarten and early intervention for young children, you're going to always be chasing your tail because it's just not going to happen. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it any kind of magical teaching you want. Our teachers teach. We are a very diverse community. Nobody has brought up the achievement gap. This is a major problem in Connecticut. We have children who don't speak English. English is their second language. All of these are not taken into account when our children are tested. Please, I just can't emphasize enough to you how important it is to start young with your children. The Common Core, anything that comes down the pipe, they are not going to be able to handle without being able to read, without appropriate oral language, without being able to comprehend, and without being able to attend. Teachers have a class 20 to 26 kids with all different levels. We need to be more involved in our schools. We need to support our teachers. We need to support our students. We need to support our children. And the best way we can support them is to start them off young, let them feel comfortable in school.
Thank you, Mrs. Russo. Mrs. Chong?
what is your position on the implementation of the Common Core standards?
Thank you. Well, for most people who know me very well, I'm not very fond of the Common Core standards. I have, in fact, been researching it for the past year, if not longer. Where I agree we need standards across the line, and every child should, in every state, have standards. The standards are not a real standard. If you go and ask the state of Connecticut, or any state for that matter, there is no such thing as an actual standard. What they get is from another state, and that state got it from another state before that. If you asked for a mastery list of state standards, it doesn't exist. Our children are not common. I have 3 different children, all completely different. Last year I looked at my son's testing. He was in 1st grade last year. I have to say I was kind of appalled when I saw. They were testing him as what they call the kindergarten Common Core level. By the end of last year, he had not passed all phases of kindergarten Common Core, but yet they passed him on to 2nd grade. This is where you hear from time to time the dumbing down of our children. I could go on and on about this, but like Rosemary is saying, you should have started very young with this. This is actually something they started back in the 1980s that fell short, fell through. They decided it wasn't going to work. We actually have 4 states that have opted out of it right now. New York is in the middle of opting out of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chung. Ms. Richardson, what is your position on the implementation of the Common Core standards?
Exactly what it is, it's a standard. I believe that a child entering our public school system now is going to benefit greatly from this type of rigorous education. But I'm not going to stand here and tell you that those who are already in the system are not going to struggle. They may find, because of the flaws, the current flaws, those kids who are in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they may struggle with that change in curriculum. I'm for Common Core, but I also have to say that we have to ensure that the children who have fallen behind in Common Core are given the tools necessary to get up to par. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Mr. Fabiani?
Sure, as I had mentioned earlier, far too many of our children are not going into college prepared for college or going to the workforce prepared for the workforce. Many of our children graduate high school and find that they can't get admitted to college until they take remedial English language arts or math because of the gaps in our current curriculum. I'm a proponent for Common Core as the curriculum is more rigorous and will prepare our students to be successful in college and in the workforce. But we also have to recognize that this new curriculum is rigorous, is very rigorous, and as Rosa Richardson had mentioned, we need to make sure that we have methods in place to make sure that the support and the resources are available. We also need to involve the parents. My kids come home with this new rigorous curriculum, and it's difficult for them, it's extremely difficult for me. And we need to really involve the parents and offer the parents guidance on how to be an active partner in their child's education. That's so important to make sure that learning just doesn't occur in the classroom, it needs to occur out of the classroom as well. We need to make sure that we allocate the proper resources and utilize the Alliance Grant Fund to provide teaching coaches, technology upgrades, early intervention programs, and early childhood literacy services. This is a significant change in our student learning that we should not take lightly. Our children's success depends on us and the smooth transition to this curriculum. So we need to spend our energy working together to help our district with this transition, which in turn will help our children succeed. If elected, I will request that a curriculum update on the Common Core implementation be a standing agenda item on all Board of Education meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fabiani.